So we have with this our next speaker, Rajesh. Rajesh is from Singapore. So Rajesh, I'm adding you to the stage. Stage is all yours.
Thanks, Krunal. Hope you can hear me, and let me quickly share my screen. Is audio is clear?
Yes, yes, audio is clear.
Okay, I just share my screen. Okay, hopefully you can see the screen. It's loading up.
It's loading. Yes, it's visible. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks everyone. It's been half a day marathon so far, and it's great job by the team, Krunal, Purple Skills, and Span Labs team. So today, I'm from Singapore. So just let me give you a quick introduction about myself. I'm the global solution architect and based out of Microsoft Singapore, mainly focused on driving Microsoft 365 Copilot, Copilot agents, and also modern work. So I have close to 18 plus years of experience with Microsoft Stack and been MCT for 6 years. And this is my Medium blog in case if you're interested to join, and if you're interested to connect it, you can scan my LinkedIn URL code here, and you can give me a connection request. So today, topic is going to be building your first Copilot agent. So I was looking at all the sessions today from the morning. It's all in very high level of VS Code, and some of them showing us the declarative agents, but using the Azure AI Foundry or even Pro Code level of thing. But I just want to make sure that my session is going to be very going back to basics, like instead of using prompt, like everybody would have used it AI, right? So you would have prompted, you have asked for information, search for information. So we wanted to move from basic prompting to building something to get into the production. So today, from the session, the key takeaways will be, how what is fundamentals of agents. So we have seen the interfaces so far in many sessions. We have seen how to build agents. We have seen the complexity behind of it. But I wanted to make sure that we understand the fundamentals, which is very much important, and also for those who are getting started in agent, we see what are the agent templates available and how also we can build an agent right from scratch at a very small level, right? So first I want to start about UI for AI. So if you are into Microsoft Stack and you've been following Copilot for the last 1 year, this term has been introduced by Satya in the last Ignite, Copilot being UI for AI. So what is it, right? So consider the Copilot as your mobile application or mobile, right? I would say you have your mobile in your hands, and you use it for, day-to-day task kind of thing. And consider agents as the applications which you install on your mobile phone. For instance, an example, Instagram, WhatsApp, or your emails or anything, right? So you have each of the application for a dedicated task, right, which is designed to do certain tasks, not in general, correct? Your mobile is a general place where you can use it for everything, maybe like for calculator, time, applications, video watching, everything, right? So agents like applications which does specific things. Your WhatsApp cannot show you video, YouTube videos, or using WhatsApp you cannot check the time and other stuff. So you have each and every app specifically, and consider the agents as that, right? So you, on top of Copilot, you have different agents specifically designed. And the key part, which I would like to enforce here is all of this comes under your Copilot control system, which is you know uh, basically managing from the admin perspective, or from data security, governance, and compliance perspective. It's still managed, and everything will be covered under your M365. So the goal for UI for AI is to have, or maybe democratize AI, so anyone in your organization can innovate. Not only the technical teams, which was previous case of like 10 years back, there will be technical teams who are good at developing applications or developing software kits, etc. But today that's not the case, right? So with even with the coding expertise, you can build your own agents, or task related stuff. So Microsoft 365 Copilot, right, is not just a productivity tool. It's I would say it's a platform where you can extend with custom agents. You can build agents on top of your M365 Copilot. So agents does bring you specialized knowledge, automate business processes, and can easily integrate with your business apps, whether it might be your Teams, SharePoints, or even third-party systems. Like you can create an agent and public in your intranet website, or even if you have a public website, you can create it and you can publish it for your customers. So imagine tailoring your Copilot to your organization requirement needs, maybe onboarding new hires or automating compliance checks or even providing instant access to any contract details you want to share. So this flexibility means you can really drive the real business impact, adapting Copilot to solve challenges specific to your team or maybe even your industry within your organization. So what are Copilot agents, right? So basically agents are AI assistants or considered as an application on your mobile phones, which can help you to optimize the business processes and also enhance the productivity, right? So when you talk about agents, is it like only for people who know coding or know what is the real use of it, right? We have different agents. So they range from, retrieval agents like basically fetching sales report or, asking any question, basically, as the name says, right? Just retrieve the information, and we can ground the data using the web sources or even the internal sources using the graph. And basically it can help you to understand that for something like HR policies, you have a SharePoint site where all you have your HR documents, or you want to check how much vacation I have, or how much is the reimbursement policy for home office setup. Or even what I can do is I can integrate my workday into my agent, which I can use Copilot as a UI and ask, how much is the leave, or if I want to apply for a leave system and the stuff. Then we have a task-based agent, right? So task is basically something any actions is taken on. So retrieval is just a Q&A type. You ask a question and the agent gives you an answer. Whereas a task is basically a multi-step process, right? So, for example, I have a update, I have to excel and update an excel, and every time I don't want open my excel and update a row or table or something, I want to use my agent for it, right? So those are multiple tasks where I do something, okay, and take an action, and because of that action, another action is triggered. For example, I want to summarize a sales report. That's the first step, right? So I summarize it, and then the second step, once it is summary is done, it should automatically email to my manager or maybe the finance team with the report of that. So that is a second step. So those are task based agents which can be created with low code and low code possibilities. And then we have the advanced method for called as autonomous agents. I believe one of our speaker has demonstrated how to build autonomous agent. So basically, it is very automatic, I would say, without or less human intervention. So an action or trigger starts, and that will initiate a process workflow, dynamically plan, and then it will orchestrate by itself, even if it doesn't, if you want to talk with other agents in the system. For example, you have a IT team where a new employee joins and he requests for a new laptop. The moment the user requests a new laptop, we can't IT team just can't provision it, right? So it has to go through a different process of approval. So it goes to the users or maybe the particular employee's manager for approval, and then once the manager approves it, go to the IT team for the approval, and once the IT team approves, it goes to the procurement, and then the laptop is delivered. So these are the multiple processes where autonomous agents can be really helpful. So if you look at it as mentioned in the slide, right, the simple way, we have a simple, intermediate, and the advanced. So everybody can use agents in their workflow. So when we say agent, everybody is talking about agents. They're showing demonstrations. So what's really the backbone of an agent? So every agent is built on foundation of certain key components, which you see here is some of them is like workflow instructions, action, trigger, knowledge, orchestrator, or the foundation model. So it's a combination. It's not every time it's all everything works together, but it's a combination of all these ingredients, right? So basically, workflow instructions is what you define the agent should do, like generate a report or send a reminder email, or you can also add instructions like what it shouldn't be doing, right? And then you have triggers or actions where basically it's to activate the agent. So some action or something which triggers the workflow or the agent, and then it follows the entire process. And then the knowledge orchestration is basically allows the agents to understand the context, connect to data sources, and deliver the relevant insights. So you are telling, don't search my entire M365, or maybe I don't want answers from LLM, because agents, as I mentioned, are designed to do specific tasks, not a general task, right? General thing can be done by the LLM. So when you create an agent, it has to do very specific thing, and where knowledge comes into picture. Focus only on that source and give me information if it is available. If not, do not give me or hallucinate anything on that, right? And you have the orchestrator. So orchestrator is nothing but you have your Copilot, and behind your M365 Copilot, there's orchestrator, which works in a different way than your custom LLM models or custom orchestrator when you build using the Azure AI Foundry or any other complex advanced methods. And then you have the foundational models, basically the GPT 5 or GPT 4, which we have. But if you're building agents with advanced scenarios like Azure AI Foundry, you have options to bring in your own LLM, or you can choose other LLMs like Mistral AI or DeepSeek or Meta, even Grok for that matter. So it's all combination depending on your business use case and how you're going to use the agent for yourself. So as I mentioned, agent creation is for everyone, right? It's not only for the technical people or developers, it's for end users, developers, and makers as well. So Copilot Studio offers no code or low code builders for quick solution. Just like select a template, you can customize the prompts and you can publish the agent. Or using the Copilot Studio Light experience, you can create an agent for yourself and you can start consuming it. So here, for an example, I would say, I have an agent where, and I use it for my personal purpose. I have an agent to suggest me top, rated IMDb movies for the week, right? So if I'm planning for a weekend, movie with my wife, I just use it like, I ask, what are the top rated movies in IMDb in English and Tamil or Hindi or whatever, right? I just ask the agent rather than going to Google search and trying everything, right? I just say, ask the agent. It just gives me the list, right? And I choose it from them. So these are real simple use cases. It's not always it has to be at work, but you can use it basically, depends on how you want to use it. So there's no defined way that you have to use this way. It's all about your creativity. And we have the agents for makers who use the Copilot Studio, the full-fledged experience where you have topics, actions, knowledge saves, or you want to bring in, a third-party, data sources or data verse, or even you can include the Power Automate workflow. And then for the developers, as I mentioned, we have the VS Code, Copilot Studio, Azure AI Foundry, or even you can use your M365 Agents SDK to build agents for it. Right? So, as I mentioned, it's for everyone. So, the best place to start if you're a beginner, you have a pre-built agent. Like if you have a M365 Copilot license, you have access to researcher and analyst agent and meeting agent. So these are called as first-party agents provided by Microsoft with your Copilot licenses. And then you can build an agent from a scratch or even customize a template. So you can use one of the templates, like the first-party agents template, and you can customize that according to your organizational requirement. And then the last one is the advanced one where you can bring your own agent using your SDK, Azure AI Foundry, or even the VS Code. So for you to get started, right, these are the first party agents available, and also you can use these, agents as templates for your own agents as well. So some of them are prompt coach, idea coach, writing coach, a career coach, right? So when you create an agent, it will have an option to choose a template, and you can either go for a template, or if you have a clear vision on what I'm going to build, you can just build it from the scratch. Okay. So I have created my agents, and where I can see my agents, or if I want to have, add a third party agent or even a first party agent to my chat, where do I do that? So you have the agent store, where you can discover your agent. It includes your current agents, your first party agents built by Microsoft, and also your third party agents, which your organizations allow to integrate with your M365 Copilot system. As I mentioned previously, all of these agents, right? It's not like, it's not on its own. It is managed by admins and are validated with the security controls, and to provide better results and also maintain the compliance and performance for the IT insight as well. So IT team has a complete control, and even for agent creation, an IT admin can block that agent creation for you. We have seen customers like who are still evaluating their agentic AI scenarios where they have blocked for the users to create agent. So when still in the background they're evaluating the security and compliance, how it's going to fit in their industry. So admin can control that. Okay, so make sure that if you're not seeing that, then it's something administrator stopped it. But if your organization allowed, make sure you explore it. Okay, the other thing I want to tell you is If you have a M365 Copilot license, then you're absolutely fine. You're okay to create agents and you're okay to consume agents as well. But in case if you do not have a license, you need to be very mindful, because when you create an agent or you start using an agent, it is metered to the tenant user using a pay-as-you-go model, right? So if I mean, it's a setup which your IT admins do, like, it's like a prepaid card where they recharge, for the agentic usage. And if you do not have a license, when the consumption of your agent is detected from your prepaid balance available in the tenant. So, ensure that you have proper guidance, check it with the admins and the IT team before you wanted to start creating agent or you started consuming an agent as well. But if you have a license, no issues, you can go ahead and create agents or consume agents because it is included in your M365 Copilot license, right? So if you want to get started on, let me, I have to, start reading from the scratch, right? I don't know what is a agent is. It's pretty confusing or it's complex or no. This is the page you can scan for yourself. It goes to the adoption page where it will help you to understand what is the agents, a foundational level, advanced level as well. You can plan and also help you to manage and create agents in your own organization. Now I'm going to switch to a quick demo on how to build very small level declarative agents. And let me just show you. Okay, this is my demo tenant here. Let me share. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I have two agents here. Okay, so one, I'm sure everyone know how to access the agent. So this is where I mentioned the agent store, right? So from your M365 Copilot, you go to Explore Agents, and you can see all your agents. So these are my agents currently, and this user has M365 Copilot license, so I can see the researcher and analyst. These are some of the first-party agents provided by Microsoft. And if you scroll down, you see all the first-party agents built by Microsoft, all right? All you have to do is just click on this agent, and you can click on add, and it will be added to your chat screen on the left hand side, right? And you have an option to pin. For example, I will be using this writing coach agent very often. I can just pin it here, and if I don't require, I can just unpin it anytime, or even, once I'm done, I'm not interested in explore, I can just go ahead and uninstall this writing coach. So this is where you explore all of your agents. So you have to go to all agents or explore agents. And if you scroll down, you have your featured agents here and more agents. So basically this will be all controlled by your IT admin for your organization, and what they allow will show up here. So example, your organization has set up a confidence cloud, and I can add that agent to my Copilot here. Okay, so this is where you can explore, right? So researcher agent is nothing but why we have an agent, right? So we all know M365 Copilot can answer any question, or it can fetch the information, right? Why researcher model, or why we have an analyst, right? So researcher and analyst are two dedicated agents. I'd say, as I mentioned, it's designed to do specific tasks, right? Your chat, in your M365 chat, when you ask a question, it's going to retrieve information like an answer, right? It is not going to do any kind of research, or it will not calculate a risk, or assumption or forecast or anything. But a researcher agent is built on a deep reasoning model by default. So even if you want to ask a question, for example, I just asked this prompt: analyze the market position for, okay, I would not say market share analysis of Microsoft in AI, use only the web data. All right, so I'm just going to ask this question. And researcher, as I mentioned, is built on a deep reasoning model, which means that it will cover or do a 360-degree research or the question you are asking, rather than just answering. So before I start the research, I'm just going to ask the same question here, and I am not going to use work here. I'm just going to switch to web tab, and I'm just asking this question. So this is based on the foundation model, right? The GPT, and the LLM just gives me an answer very quickly. But if I ask the same question in my researcher, it's going to take at least 3 to 5 minutes, because it's not like LLM. It's going to take some time to do the whole research, right? And there's a very simple prompt, but the more detail your prompt is, so it's going to ask me. You see, it just confirms that. Whereas in your LLM, just gives me the answers. It doesn't verify, doesn't validate what you need, right? It just throws the answer, and you have to continue the conversation here. And if you put the same prompt in your researcher, it's asking which segments of AI are you looking for a global market share? Should the analysis includes comparison with other major players? I say any specific time frame, right? So when I say, I say generative AI, okay, and then yes, globally, global market share, and yes, then compare the major players, okay, and that's it for the last 2 years. I'm answering all these questions as much as possible, all right? Then it says once you give your input, I'll kick off the research. So just I'll go here and I will start the research. Okay. And with the model, as I mentioned, it's designed on deep reasoning model, which means that it's beginning its research. And when you go to show more, you just expand here and it will start the. So you can see what is the agent is doing at the beginning, in the back end, right? Here you cannot see that, or even you can't control anything, right? Just gives you an answer and gives you the sources here. But here researcher will show you exactly step by step what it is doing, how they are, it's arriving to that particular answer for each question. So for the same question, you see it's the same prompt, and you see what difference does it make with the researcher. Okay, so it's going to take some time. So even if you ask a simple question, it's going to take at least 3 to 5 minutes for the researcher agent to answer. Okay, so this is how helpful it is, right? And then you have the analyst agent. Okay, so I'm just going to switch to analyst agent here. Basically, consider analyst agent as a data scientist, right? So researcher is for just for the research work, and analyst as a data scientist. So if you want to have Excel sheet, or maybe you want to work with the forecast analysis, variance analysis, or anything with your complex data, this is your data scientist guy. So it's basically like you have a data scientist with you, and you do not want to work on complex Excels, or you don't want to invent formulas. Analyst agent can help you with that. So it's again based on the deep reasoning model, and these are the two first party agents which is available for all the M365 Copilot license users. Okay, now I'm going to show you a declarative agent. So as I mentioned, the name declarative agent, or they renamed recently as Copilot Studio Light, right? So when when you click on create agent from your Copilot chat or your 365 Copilot, it basically in the backend it's Copilot Studio, right? But we are wearing using any light experience, not a full-fledged Copilot Studio, right? So you see it goes to your Copilot Studio, but the interface stays here. And I can go to configure, and here you have the choice of choosing the template. And I see a learning coach or maybe a prompt coach. I just choose the template and it automatically shows up. Okay, so what is the prompt code? So basically a name, descriptions, and as I mentioned, instructions, right? So instructions is how what it defines your agent behavior. So it's basically like how you guide your children. What should they do? What should they not do? And how they can behave at home, how they can behave at public places with friends and other stuff. So this basically you put in all the instructions how you want it to do. Okay, and then you have the knowledge source. This is just a prompt. Coach, right? So it doesn't need any knowledge. It can use the foundational model, and then these are some of these suggested prompts. So I'm just going to click on cancel, and I'm going to go to this agent here, which I have created for this demo, tax calculate agent. So this can be a very good use case for yourself, like you can use it for you or maybe your team, right? And let's see researcher, you see, it's still running all these things which your basic LLM will not do, right? So that's why we have this agent here. Let it run, it will take its time. So this agent, I'm just going to click on edit here, and I'm going to show you the name, and I just created the description, and you see the instructions here. And I mentioned like collect the user inputs and all those stuff, right? And now what is the slab, the old regime and the new regime as well, and what are the deductions available in India for the tax calculation. And for the knowledge source, I have used the clear tax and India tax calculator websites as a public knowledge sources. All you have to do is just go to the public website here, click on here, and you can add it. In case if you have any documents, you can upload it here directly from your device or even from your cloud files, right? Now, tax calculation. is some numbers, right? It's not that text, right? So what I've did is I've enabled code interpreter, which is basically help to create or work with numbers. So whenever I have any numbers in my agent, I always enable code interpreter. Does it mean that without code interpreter these agents will not work? No, it is not like that. It will work, but for a better and more relevant responses and accurate results, in case if your agent involves numbers or your data involves numbers, it is recommended to turn on the code interpreter, especially if you're using Excel data or something. Turn on so that it can create visualizations, chart, maps, and process more numbers, right? So since this is a tax calculator with a number, I have just turned on the code interpreter and suggested prompts. So basically you can have up to 6 starter prompts here when you are using your agent. So when you just click on this agent here, you see the starter prompts. Okay, you can configure accordingly, but the maximum you can have is 6, right? Once I'm done, I will just click on create, and then no, you can also test your agent here on the side now for the accuracy of the responses or the quality of the responses, right? If you're not happy, go ahead and modify the instruction. Now, in case if you're editing here, make sure you update it so that the agents get updated. Now, for the first question, and I'm going to ask, I've already pinned it just to save some time. And I say calculate my tax for 18 lakh salary with 1.5. And now I've given the deductions, I've given my salary as well. And now, without going to the other websites and filling this information manually, the here the value is saving your time, right? And you can quickly just get the give the numbers or the inputs, and you can get a tax calculation. So as per the old tax regime, as per the new tax regime, and it says it gives you a recommendation which one is better for you. Then it will give you or ask you some more questions if you want to continue the conversation, right? So for the interest of the time, I'll just click on new chat, and I'm going to ask the second question. I am asking which regime is better for 10 lakh income with NPS and home loan deductions, right? I haven't mentioned about the deductions here, how much I'm paying for NPS or the home loan, just for the 10 lakh income, right? And it's going to be giving me a suggestions based on the 10 lakh income. It will help to analyze this analyzing, right? This is where the code interpreter comes into picture. So it is going to do all the calculation, and it says old regime is better in, and it can save you up to 28.6K in tax compared to the new regime, right? And ask me, would you like to explore other deductions or simulate other income legs, right? And I'm just going to click on new chat. The third prompt I have is show me the tax take breakdown for a senior citizen earning 7 lakhs per annum, right? And I can quickly go through it, and it says assumption. So I no additional deductions claimed. Income is purely okay. You see your pop-up here, Copilot has new activity, which means that the researcher is already done, right? So I think it is, oh, it's not it. Okay, let it run. So assumptions, it takes the new tax regime and the old tax regime. It also explains how the calculation is done and gives me a summary, and it gives me also suggestion. By opting for new regime, we can save this much. So I can further go up this conversation, right? So this is how you build an agent. So you can just click on create an agent and do this, right? This is here. The thing which I want to show is I click on this agent, and this agent is built with the knowledge source from the public website, right? It doesn't do any internal organization data. But I do have another agent, right, for which is called as a tender IQ agent, which I have built it for you to evaluate tender process. So I'm sure everybody would have come up through the RFP process where you want to evaluate certain tenders, you get contracts, and you have the base document, right? So this agent is designed to do that. And I have this instructions here. As I give the agent a role, and then I give all these instructions here. Okay, it's mega. And you see, the capacity of instructions is 8,000 characters, right? So it's huge. They can have at least 10 pages of word document as instruction. So that, because that's the core how the agent behaves, right? So you can just expand. I can show you the detailed instructions here. All right. And here I've given the knowledge source as attended document. So I have this SharePoint site, and inside the SharePoint site, I have the pricing evaluation template and the 3 proposals from different vendors. And I have a tender requirement sample document, which is for my organization. So how do I just do is I go here to the folder, and I can click on copy link, and all I have to do is just come here and paste this knowledge source. Okay, and I can put it here. If it's not in the SharePoint, you can also feel free to upload your documents here, and make sure you have access to those documents. Okay, the key thing when you are involving a SharePoint site or a documents in your agents, you should be able to access the document, because Copilot follows the rule. If as a user, if you're not able to access any files, your Copilot cannot access, right? So make sure you have proper access to the document. If it's a password protected file, I would say don't use it, right? Because Copilot cannot enter passwords on behalf of you. So you have to manually enter the password and open the file. So if you either remove the password before you are adding to the agent, right? Then since again it's tenders involving numbers, I've just enabled the code interpreter here, and I did not have any suggested prompts. I have some other prompts which are saved later here. So I'm going to go to the agent. Okay, and I'm going to ask some of this question. So I am just asking this question. Hey, rank the vendors. Okay, so I don't know who is better. Just asking Copilot for a suggestion to rank it and recommend an award with a justification, whom you are recommending and why you are recommending. So I give this prompt, and it's going to quickly run through the documents in the SharePoint site, and it can be more than 100 files also. So in case if you have a SharePoint site, I think it works great. Okay, and it says give it to Cygnus data, and this is how it has ranked, what is the weighted total and TCO and all those numbers, right? And it just gives me a justification why we should award this tender to Cygnus data, and it covers all the aspects from pricing, coverage, lead time, SLA, payment terms, and the differentiators, right? Then I'm going to ask a question. Explain, I say, show the cost breakdown, okay, for each of the vendor, and how it has influenced the final ranking. Okay, so this is, you can just you can ask questions in the same order, or it can be anything, doesn't matter. But make sure if you are using an agent like for something else, right, always click on the new chat if you're not on the conversation, because Copilot works from your previous conversation. So as if you're talking, if I'm switching to another topic, it creates a confusion for you, right? So similarly, Copilot gets confused, it will still try to answer, but it will not have much relevance or accuracy in the results, right? So I'm just ask this question, and in case if you're switching topics, just make sure you click on new chat, all right? When I say switching topics, why we should ask, something else from, from the agent, which is designed to evaluate the tender. I might be bit stressed. I just want to, because I hear some jokes, or maybe, what is the latest news. I just want to understand from the same thing, right? I can still do this, because this agent has been not been instructed to entertain jokes or something, right? And if you feel like, your agent shouldn't be answering, you can add an instruction: do not entertain any question about politics, do not entertain any question about jokes, or do not give any news to the requester. So if you add those kind of instructions, your agent will not respond to those kind of queries. Okay, if not, general LLM, it will answer for you. Okay, and it's taking some time. I'm just going to quickly refresh and see.
Yes, Rajesh. So we are already, yeah,
Okay, just give me 5 minutes, I'll just wrap up. Okay, hope that's fine, Kruna.
yeah, okay.
Thank you. So you see, this is a kind of structure, right? This is where the code interpreter comes and gives you this kind of visualization, and that is where it will help you. So I can say, what are the feature gaps. No, I can just go on, right? So we can just continue asking this question. So basically the concept is, depending on your source data, and depending on the access level, the information which you have, you can ask questions and the agents will be able to answer. Let's see whether, okay, you see the researcher has done. Okay, and it will tell you how. Okay, it doesn't give the timeline, but yeah, these are the tasks which a researcher has done, right? So it gives this holistic approach, the entire data. I mean, if you want to generate this kind of data using LLM, it takes at least multiple iterations of prompts, right? And with a single prompt, a researcher can develop this report, right? I can just quickly summarize, or maybe I can use it, convert in a Word document if I want to submit to my leadership. Okay, so yeah, that is it. That is for the demo, and I hope it is helpful. And I would like to thanks, Krunal, for this wonderful opportunity and running this great show. It's really a huge leap in learning skill. I also want to thank the sponsors, Purple Skill and Span Labs. And if you're interested to connect with them in LinkedIn and YouTube, you can scan this QR code. Thanks, Krunal. Thanks, everyone, for your time. Have a great day ahead learning. Bye bye.